So how I got into this business, we have an ongoing joke in my family that I've been a professional cuddler since I was about 6 years old. So I've been doing this all of my life. And the reason why we have that joke is because, first of all, I was that kid who like cuddled with their parents and wanted to sleep in my parents' bed until I was like 13 years old. Cuddling was always central to my feeling of loved, my feeling of being loved and connected. So I was just very prone to it. When I was little and about 6 years old, my sisters and I would wake up. I have two older sisters. We would wake up, we'd do Saturday morning cartoons, and they would pay me a quarter a cartoon to do what we nicknamed, as little kids, we nicknamed it Magic Fingers. And I would just do like feather tickling touch all on their arms, and they would pay me to do that when I was, because like, you know, quarters were valuable because quarters meant gumballs at the gumball machine, or they meant M&Ms at, like, you know, the grocery store little vending thing. So quarters were they're coveted. But yeah, so I've always had a lot of touch sort of ingrained in who I am. And then my mother is a nurse, and she started off in the intensive care unit for infants, so NICU, and I would go and I would volunteer and hold babies. And so I felt like the power of touch and how those babies wouldn't survive without being cuddled, right? Cuddling was literally the thing that kept them alive. And then when I was ending middle school into high school, my mother then transitioned into hospice care. And so I would go and volunteer at hospice when I was, you know, growing up, and sitting with someone who is passing away or terminally restless, and how just holding their hand made visual, physical differences in their experience at the end of their life. My mom is an amazing human being. My mom also did home care for children with disabilities. So we have people with Down syndrome in our family, so that was one of her specialties, because of our close personal like relation to Down syndrome and what the needs that come with that condition. And so we touch in that environment is so important, but it also hinges on trying to give a person who may or may not be able to communicate in a way that neurotypical people can really fully understand, trying to give them agency, trying to give them consent and autonomy over their bodies while giving them access to touch, while having sort of a communication and language barrier. So all those things really shaped how I experienced touch growing up and how valuable it was for me. And then I've always been really invested in psychology and learning about psychology. So I like took college credits in high school in like I took an AP psychology course in high school, just learning about that. And I've been in therapy since I was like 10 years old. It's just like a value. So that's sort of the perfect storm that created me in this business. Yeah. There was also a huge catalyst of finding cuddle parties when I moved to Chicago from Indiana, where I grew up. Yeah, man, there's a whole additional part to that story. There's lots.